Okay, YouTube, it's your boy Estefanos, and I'm back with more videos. I've taken a bit of a break, but I think it's time to talk about Invincible again. My last couple videos haven't been really talking about it because I wanted to chill, but honestly, I just can't stop talking about this show. This whole franchise, it really despite the gory, dark, and intense fights, this show is amazing for a superhero show. And the fact that half of the characters are legit ripoffs of other superheroes and villains still makes me laugh to this day. But it still works in a way. Like, sure, they're ripoffs, but they still feel original. No, not original. Okay, original is a stretch, but you know what I mean. And ever since season 3 ended, I've been noticing a lot of people, when it comes to season 3, or just Invincible now, like post season 3, they they don't really they really love voicing how much Mark has been immature this season. And although I've already talked about it in previous videos, I think it's time to talk about something that happens in the end of the season and something that's going to happen going forward. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. Now, as you all know, this whole season has been trying to tell Mark that he can't always do what he thinks is right. He can't always be the good guy or the guy who saves the world. He has to pick either be the one or the other. And everyone has been trying to hammer that in for him. Like Cecil, Oliver, even let's say even his villains in a way. Like the Maulers didn't really deserve to, immediately be killed, but I still think it was valid for Oliver to kill. People hate Oliver for killing them because he did it without remorse, and because he's a kid. Kids usually feel traumatic or feel bad for something they did. But Oliver, being the menace he is, sees it's the only option. And I already explained why I think Oliver is a complicated but well-written character. So I'm not going to get too much in. But I will say this. He is the reason why Mark changes his viewpoints and his morals at the end of the season. And that's kind of what I want to focus today. So in the last couple episodes of season 3, Mark legit has had probably the most, ever since probably his fight with Engstrom last season and also his battle with Nolan at the end of season 1, Mark's trauma has been dialed up with Paraplex killing his wife and kid to get revenge on the death of his wife, his sister and niece from Mark and Nolan's fight. And then he blames Mark for now his wife and son's death, even though, as we all know, it's his fault, but he refuses to believe it because of his anger and hatred. Now, at first, we all feel bad for him, but now we don't. And Mark really doesn't have much time to comprehend that in a way it was his fault. He knows it's not his fault that it happened, but he feels like it's still his fault. Like he still feels bad, even though Eve is telling him that Powerplex was mentally unill. So now we get into episode 7, the penultimate episode, and one of the most anticipated events in the series, the Invincible War. Now, as we all know, Angstrom Levy was killed by Mark at the end of season 2. Now, we all thought Angstrom was dead, even Mark. He was just too traumatized that he killed someone to check properly he was dead. But it turned out, I still don't know how Angstrom survived, but dude, the way this guy came back shocks me. I'm surprised the technicians were able to fix him up, but dude, his hatred is real powerful. Probably just as powerful as Lex Luthor's or Reverse Flash or what's his name, the Green Goblin, or every other generational hater. Oh yeah, and the Shredder. And so he makes an army of invincible variants to destroy everything in their path to ruin Mark's name, and it works. Now the whole world fears the name when they think of Invincible, and Paraplex is pretty much just proving his point why they shouldn't trust Invincible, and Mark feeling responsible because he killed Angstrom, resulting in coming back and using these invincible variants. Mark is always going to feel bad. That's what I like about our version of Mark. He's always going to feel bad for stuff that, even though it shouldn't be his fault, that he makes it his fault. and I respect him because that makes him different from every other Invincible berry. But Mark does not have enough time to relax because now he has to jump into his next battle of Conquest, which is the season finale. And I tell you, Conquest is by far the scariest Viltrumite. Of course, we got one left to meet. You know, the true big bad of the series. But up until the next season comes out, oh my God, Conquest. We all thought Nolan was a problem. This man legit fiends with smoke. I thought Battle Beast was that. Nah, these two would. I wish these two got to fight each other. It's too bad though that they weren't able to. But dude, Mark basically fought the same character. The only difference is Conquest doesn't fight with honor. He just fights because that's all he's known. That's legit the only joy he gets. While Battle Beast looks for a proper battle, an honorable battle, a fair fight, to die by a fair battle by his opponent. So like in a way, Battle Beast is quite honorable. He's like Craven the Hunter essentially. So yeah, and so Mark gets a lot of assists from Adam Eve and then Oliver. And a lot of I've noticed when it comes to like when people giving their points on the season finale, everyone loves dogging on Mark because they believe because in the beginning of the season they said Mark has gotten so much stronger that he could take a Nissa. But the problem is, no matter how strong Mark would have been, he could have been miles stronger. He could have been 345% stronger. He still wouldn't have beaten Conquest because Mark has only been hero for what a year at this point, and you're telling me Mark could have beat Conquest. You're telling me that if he gets angry enough. Like I understand why. It's like to motivate him in a way. I'm not taking that away. It's just y'all really were expecting Mark to just beat the second strongest. I'm not saying they know that. They don't know that. They're just people who are like grew up on the show because they found out about it. And like they've avoided the comic books because people have been spoiling like on TikTok and everywhere. But I'm just saying, it's kind of crazy that everyone expected Mark to beat Conquest. People were legit saying lock in when I watched reaction. And I get it, it's in a way to motivate Mark. But the fact that they now people are legit, I don't know how to explain it, but dude, people were legit dogging Mark for so much this season, like especially the last 2 episodes. The Invincible War I can get because he stayed in to watch Eve, but you gotta get it. This guy has made so many selfless decisions the past couple of seasons. And I know, he's a hero. He's supposed to make those selfless decisions. But let me ask you this. When is the last time Mark has made a selfish decision for himself? When has he fought for himself? Probably since before he got his powers. The day after he got his powers and went on his first patrol was the last time he was happy. But busy, Nate. I'm busy. Sorry, Mom. And I'm not denying that Mark was selfish. I'm not. But dude, you could at least give Mark some leeway. That he's been through enough. But I get it. He's like the only one strong enough to take on his variants. The Conquest fight? No. I don't care how unfamiliar you are with Invincible. You gotta have an idea just from the fact that Conquest means business. The dude has a robotic arm, scar on his face, blinded eye. Like, no offense, but doesn't that give you a bit of an idea that this is someone who has nothing to lose? Mark has so much to lose in this fight. Like, he didn't even care about what was gonna happen. He just wanted to like vent, let his anger out. And I get it. And oh my goodness, this battle was so brutal. Oliver nearly died. Eve died practically, and her power saved her. If it weren't for her power, she would have died. So Mark legit had to wreck his body, legit breaking both arms, broken femur, and then he finally beats Conquest. But unfortunately, the dude is still alive. And oh my God, Cecil, you need to get a bunker or something because Mark is gonna come after you, bro. No, like, if once Mark finds out you kept this guy alive, oh my God, you're cooked, you're dead. Mark legit was grabbing you from the neck. Next thing you know, he's gonna be holding your whole entire head on from his body. And I get why, and now I kind of get why people, and I already kind of get why people said what Cecil was doing was kind of valid, but that's not. We already talked. So at the end of the season, Mark tells Oliver he was right, that that he should have not been upset. Okay, he was right that he should have killed Angstrom and made sure he was dead, and that way he wouldn't have came back. And in a way, Oliver was right about killing the Maulers. They hurt so many people, and they put so many lives at risk. And Mark has now come to the conclusion that whoever hurts his family, he doesn't care no matter what. As long as he sees it as a threat, he's not going to hesitate. He's going to go for the kill. And a lot of people are happy, but a lot of people like me are concerned. Now, I'm not expecting Mark to be perfect. You know, I'm a teenager. He's a teenager. We're both the same age, essentially. Like, but this is something I've been wondering to say. Is Mark wrong for not killing? Like, is Mark not wrong? Because it's not. I don't think it's necessarily just about not wanting to be like seen as like a murderer as his father. But I've honestly been thinking, Mark legit has never killed before Angstrom. Like at the end of season 2. Before Mark was just witnessing people die, but he wasn't the one doing it, you know? So it makes sense, because up to this point, I don't think we've all seen Mark kill. But like, you can't really expect someone to just simply just be okay with killing. And I love how Invincible handled it. And I love how each season finale deals with the topic of the next season. Like the season 1 finale dealt with Mark not wanting to be his father, which is the whole theme of season 2. And then the end of season 2 was that if Mark was right for killing Angstrom. And that's pretty much Mark's question, one of Mark's big questions throughout season 3. And now at the end of the season, he is more determined and comfortable killing. And that's really like shift the morality in Mark. Mark up to this point has been like so afraid of being seen as his father. Now, in a way, he's becoming more his father, but he's still not anything but his father. But it's because it's in different circumstances. But because I already know what kind of happens, and I'm not gonna say what. I'm concerned. I already know what's gonna happen. But dude, season 4 got me hyped because this season's gonna primarily have space. Like, we're gonna be in space. We're finally gonna see the villain, and we're gonna learn more about the Viltrumites. And the fact that season 3 was crazy, but it's nothing compared to this future. But my main thing is, Mark isn't wrong for having this mentality. Every superhero outside of probably, like, unless they're anti-heroes, you can say Deadpool, Red Hood, Punisher, yeah, they're okay with killing. But characters like Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America, Superman, and pretty much most of the Ninja Turtles, they're not okay with killing. They live by that code. And Daredevil. But Mark changing his morality, that's interesting. Like, he's getting more comfortable with killing, because Spider-Man and Batman will never kill unless it's depending on the continuity. Superman has never killed unless it's injustice. Daredevil wants to kill, but he's so Catholic and righteous that he doesn't want to. But yeah, though, I really loved this season. I'm gonna make a lot more Invincible videos and just yap, because I just love yapping. And I want to know, how did you guys feel about this season? Like, and how did you honestly feel about Mark? And let me know, comment down below what characters you want me to talk about from Invincible, and what other videos you want to see. Comment down below, and let's have a discussion. And as always, hope you all have a good day, and peace.